everybody, welcome back to our catalog walkthrough part 2 from the new upcoming April, May, June catalog. And if you haven't watched part 1 yet, we went through all the paper collections yesterday, so I will link this down below so you can check that one out. And today we're gonna go through the second half. And I did this in 2 parts because that way it's not so much to, that you have an hour to watch. Usually my intention is to keep it short, but there's always so much to see, so much to explain, and then little do you know, you're almost like 50 minutes down the road. All right, so let's get going. We ended yesterday with the mix and papers. So remember, this is always a great set to have. And then today we're going to start with a bunch of new upcoming stem sets, die cuts, some embellishments, and some really cute little extras. So as you can see here, there's a nice variety. If you're looking for inspiration, our catalogs are always great sources for artwork as well. So if you have a catalog, don't toss them out too fast. Because you never know, you might get some ideas out of it. All right, I'm sorry that I'm a little bit nasally too today, but allergies today are bad, and I'm trying to get some air through my nose, even so everything is open. But if you're an allergy sufferer, you know how this goes. And it's still winter, so, but it is what it is. All right, so one set here, it's called the Best Bonus Stem Set. Just a stem set. There are no dies attached to it. Lots of great phrases for family, for parenthood. Here you can see like a collage that they done with the stems. I think it's just a fun set to have. And just so remember, always on top here you can actually see a couple of samples where they use these stems to show you what you can do with them. So these were 12 by 12 papers, these were 6 by 6. And here are 4 different individual stems, and they're just so funny. So this is for all your pet lovers. So my kids are cute and they have paws. Here we have one for grandma and grandpa. We have one for mothers, for fathers, and then you can see a little bit sample what you can do with them. They're this is the original size. They're like 3 by 3. Let me see. So this is a 3 by 3 block. If you haven't seen our acrylic blocks where you put those stems on there, they have an edging on the side here which tells you the number. So this is a 3 by 3, and this is about the size of the stem, so you get an idea. I mean, they work for cards, but naturally they work for smaller pages, some little maybe gifts you give. There's a lot you can use for those for. These both of these sets come either as just a stem set or including a die. And again, if you're a little bit on a budget, or you go like, I really like both, I would like both, but I can't afford both, because naturally if you add the dies to it, it's a significantly more investment. You can always fuzzy cut them. It might take a little bit longer, but it's not that hard, and you can always see that they go around, they don't go into detail here, so you're really just following the outline of the image. So that's always an option. Here we have a friend like you, and that's just a cute little, well, ones are kitties. I don't know if these are bears or little doggies, but they're just precious little friends. A couple of nice phrases. And here we have Turtly Awesome, which is just one of these fun sets. Let's celebrate. Happy birthday, late but worth the wait. You turtly rock. You turn my world upside down. You're turtly awesome. So just cute little turtle stems. And again, a couple of ideas what you can do with them. Then we have our those are actually 4 different stem sets. So we have few, these are like the M size, so the really tiny ones. and there's a little phrase, there's a little umbrella. Again, can be used for all sorts of different, like, you know, weathering the storm, or just as they, in this case here, they use it with the Love You from the Little Bear set. Here we have a cute little teddy bear, miss you very much, feel better soon. So again, for multiple different occasions. And then we have this really cute hot air balloon. You can have those animals peeking out, some presents. You can have some flowers that are hanging over here. You have a cute little banner that goes across, and you have a couple of different phrases. So really cute sets. And these two come with dice or without. It's up to you, and you can always find the numbers down here. Then we have, it's called Brewed for You stamp set, which I think is just too adorable. So if you like root beer floats, this is a great one, or you can just use it as a beer mug too. And then a couple of really cute little phrases. A cold one for you, the old one. No, take it back. A cold one for the old one. That's what it says. I owe you one or a few. So, and you can color them. So this is the main stamp set. You can color them in with watercolors or your markers or other pencils, or you can use the inside. You can stamp the inside here in one color, then the top can go in a different. You have your straws, you have a little cherry, and as you can see here in this example, how they color them. So these are both stamped. They're not colored. And here's another one that's stamped, and then there's also the foam on top is stamped. So different versions, different varieties you can do. This one is limited edition stamp set. If you were a sports person, your kids are in sports, great baseball hat to have, and you have all these different phrases that can go on the top. I mean, it could be when you're mountain hiking, when they're playing ball, for your mom, for your dad, or you being the number one mom, the number one dad, or just simply a bad hair day. I like that one. So just a really cute set. And again, you can get it with, and the die cut in this case is just a head, or you can get it without. Then we have two sets there. One is just the sentiments, always near, and this is one of the sets. I just read this poem or this little phrase, and I thought, okay, this is a set I have. If you know me, I do a lot of card making classes, and I am always eager to get new and fresh phrases or sentiment stamps, and I have a whole boatload. I don't really part from them because we can always use them, and I like to stamp the outside of a card, but I also like to stamp the inside of the card, and you can never have too many. So this will come in handy for me. But I just love this set. Those we love don't go away. They walk beside us every day, unseen, unheard, but never, always near, still missed, still loved, still very dear. Just a really beautiful phrase or sentiment. And then there are a couple other ones on here too. So this is just a really great set if you're doing cards a lot. You can use this on pages too, but this would be, I'm a card maker in this case, so this is my point of view on this one. Here we have Sounds Like It Hurt stamp set, and that's one I should have used last week, and I think, did I just cut myself again? I don't know. So last week wasn't my day. I cut myself twice on the paper trimmer. Yeah, you heard right, on the paper trimmer. I don't know how I done that, because I have been handling a paper trimmer for, I don't know, decades. Never had an issue, never cut myself. Did it twice last week. And it was open, and I was fudging around, and I cut myself once here and once here, and I'm like, yeah, not a good day. So I could have used this one here. But this is just another set. Like if we do get well cards or heard you were sick, you know, just when you send somebody that is not feeling good, a little cute card. So this is a cute one where you can actually use the dies to cut out the the band-aid, and then we have these little squares that go on top, and you can decorate them like with hearts or with all these phrases, little faces. Just a cute set for a get well card. Thinking of you. All right, next, let me show. Yep, here we have our balloon stamp and dies, and these are just hilarious. So these are number balloons, and naturally you can use them as just regular numbers. You don't have to make a balloon out of them. If you stamp them as a flat number that you want to use, I would not ink up the shadow, those little half moons here, so you have a flat image. Otherwise, this is just a highlight, so it gives you the impression that it's a little round. You have little strings with them. You have other decorations. Here's that little thing at the bottom where, you know, you tie your balloon together and then you adhere your string to it. You have little stars, things that you can use on top of the balloon, or you can create your own background or border stamps with them. And this is just a nice set to have. I know if you have a Cricut or a die cutting machine, an electric die cutting machine, probably you have a couple of different versions of these numbers, or you can do your own. But sometimes just for a couple numbers to turn on the machine, turn on the computer, well, you know the drill. This is easier, and they're just really cute. So I think this is gonna be one of the sets I'm sure many go for because it's just easy. And if you are looking for that, that would be my number one on the list to order, because I think that might be one that's gonna be ordered a lot. If you don't have a die cutting machine, you know, the one that you crank your metal dies through, I mean, these you can get just as a stamp set too, and you can cut around them. I mean, they're not too difficult to cut out. So there's another option if you're thinking about getting one but don't want to invest or don't have the machine to do that. Here we have one for graduation, where you can actually create a head, but you can also, and here's a banner for your phrases or as a backdrop, and then you can naturally use this one here as a die to cut out multiple ones of those for a background. So, you know, there are different ways of using this. I think this one, the other day when I was looking at it, if you die cut this and then you just cut it a little bit deeper here, and I don't know if it makes sense, but you know, if you cut another little corner out of this one, you have a book. Just saying. So there are multiple ways of using this one, and you can see a couple of examples here, how they look like. And these numbers, in case somebody is wondering, so they are asking here for a 2x2. 1x1 is for the little ones. So this is a 2x2. Where's my edging? Oh, this is an old one. It doesn't have the edging, but I know this is a 2x2. Double check. Yeah, so this is a 2x2, so the numbers are around 2 inches. So a little bit bigger. All right, moving on. So here we have a couple of different stamp sets, so there are a total of 3. One is the flower, that flower bundle here, and it comes with a die cut, so this whole thing has been cut out, as you can see here, the darker gray shading. And you have a stamp set. You can get it individually or as a combo. And as you can see here, it I mean, they say it's, you need a 4x4 block, but it's not quite 4 inches because they cut really, you know, when you cut it out, it goes a little bit shorter. And as you can see here, it fits on a regular card. But it is a pretty substantial big flower bouquet. And you can use it and just stamping it with black. I would think about coloring them in and there are different ways to color them in, but since it's such a big, bold image, I think a little bit color will bring it out even more. And here they stamped the same, they used the same stamp, but they only stamped part of it. So they stamped this part here over here, and then this flower here is just this little part here. So you can do that too, just use a partial print because it's a pretty big one. Here we have a little phrase, where your heart leads, and that's just a stamp. And then this one is a combination, so you have all these phrases that are listed up here, and pretty much for many occasions, or thank you, a birthday, I love you, thinking of you, with sympathy, congratulations. So you have a good variety there to make a ton of cards, and this can be a background stamp. It is pretty bold, so it's a 5x6, so you can cover a whole card as they did here. This is tone and tone stamping, or and they used, in this case, for example, this is our periwinkle paper, but I think they used the lighter side. Remember, our Close to My Heart cardstock has like two tones, so it has one darker and one lighter side. They used the lighter side, and they used the matching periwinkle ink, where they stamped this background on there. So it's a tone on tone, very subtle. I think this is the darker side here. You can tell the difference a little bit. And then again, they stamped it on the same ink. And here they stamped it on the green. And this one looks like, yeah, they just distressed the edges. But it's like green cardstock with green ink, and then they used a file to go around the edges and reveal the white core, since our cardstock has a white core inside. And this is a pretty big one, so I think this goes a long way. Pretty for backgrounds, and actually you can just add to it and cover a whole page if you wanted to, but that's a nice stamp for an easy background, makes for easy cards. All right, next up we have 4 little cards with phrases, and again, different occasions. They're actually not phrases, I take that back. There are different wordings that you can build a phrase together. So hello friend, hello sunshine, hello there, happy hello, just a note to say hello. So there are a couple of different words in each of them that you can mix and match to create your own phrases. And there are 4 of these, so 4 different ones. And here are a couple examples. Then we have a very pretty, beautiful, bright stamp. And this comes with a die and also without. So you can have the shoes, the rings, the bride. We have the cake, and we have the flower bouquet. All come in the die form. And then you have the matching stamp. You have a couple of phrases here, and I just think it's so elegant. And as you can see here in the sample, so they use it on a page, but all they colored in was the hair and the flowers, which is really pretty. Here you have the flower bunch. Here you can see the shoes and the cake and the rings. And I always would color in a little bit, at least give it a hint of color, but I think it's just a pretty set. And since I'm still working on my wedding album, I might just have to have this and just add it to a couple of pages of decoration. This was our beautiful bride stamp, and let's move on to 2 very interesting stamps. So this first one is just borders, and the nice thing with borders is so you can just line them up infinitively, because with the clear stamps you see where one ends and you just start at the next one right there, and you can stretch them as long as you need them to be, or you can use them to frame something in. So there are a couple examples here. There's one, this one here they used for a frame. Then they have a frame around this picture, which is this stamp. They did a couple borders here, which is this one, and right here they have this square one here, where you can see they stamped it like twice in a row to get a really long stretch. So there are multiple ways to use these accent borders, and I think they're nice and timeless to me. So it's nothing that screams like, okay, that's just an in thing. I mean, you can use those over and over and over again, and they're just pretty. The second stamp set comes with 3 dies. So you have the camera, the watch, and the frame. And then you have a bunch of phrases, which can again go on any page and card you make. But this specifically will very well work for any historic pictures, old pictures you might have from family members way back. And it says family roots. And I think that's a great stamp set when you want to create your own little family tree, or just emphasize a few older pictures, because often, you know, we have these, they're not the greatest pictures, but that's really not what is interesting about them. It's the people in them and the story behind it. So this is always nice when you can make it a little bit, you know, old-fashioned looking, if you want to say so. It just gives it more character, more interest. So this is a pretty set to have. And then we come to one of my favorites. So this set is for our slimline cards. And the slimline cards, we have card bases and the matching envelopes and the main catalog. I will post down below the item number and the link to them. I think they're 20 in a package, but I'm not 100% sure. I will check this out. So there are actually 2 different things. One is an embossing folder, which embosses long pieces. Can you put in shorter pieces? Sure. Excuse me. Can you put longer pieces in? Yes. You can carefully. It all depends on the opening here, but which way it opens. I have not have this set in my hands yet, so I assume that maybe it is folded on the long side, the embossing folder. Then you just move your strip of paper further down, and then, you know, just run it through the machine again. If it's open up here, then you have to see if there's a slit where you can maybe move your paper through. Otherwise, it's a little bit difficult, and you just have to piece it together. But I would assume it's on the long side, so I have to check when I get it. Yes, so this is the embossing folder, which puts the paper, when you put paper in, it pushes paper against the design. And then you have raised images and you have flat in between. And the nice thing is, if you use our cardstock is colored on, so the color sits on the outside and the inside is white. So when you run this through an embossing machine and you take a file, so that could be just a regular, you know, those pink nail files, it could be a buffer, a nail buffer or something, and you careful, or some sandpaper, really fine sandpaper, you carefully go over, you reveal the edges here, the white, which is the center, the core of the paper, and that gives, you know, each image its definition right there. So that would be a very subtle image of a butterfly. Then you also get in the set 2 stencils. So one pretty much is the entire butterfly, and you can see here they use a little bit of ink, and I assume either a sponge or one of the new brushes we have, and colored in the image. And then the second stencil is a more detailed stencil. So in this case, they put it right on top here, lined it up, and then just used a different color tone and colored in all the details here. Or like in this case, they run it through the embossing folder first, used the sandpaper so you see the outside, and then they took the detailed stencil, and you can use your sponge dauber, a regular sponge, like I said, or the brushes, and then they went in to the bigger butterflies with the green, and then the smaller ones with the red. And it's just a pretty set. So I love these combinations because they make it really easy to emboss and bring that embossed image out to shine. I assume this will be another item that many will go for because it's relatively inexpensive, but you get a really great deal with it. And you can use those stencils on anything. I mean, you don't have to use them with the paper strips and the embossing folder. You can use them, let's say, on a page maybe you're working on. Have butterflies come behind out behind a picture or something, and you can use them in combination. You can use them individually. You can only use a couple butterflies. That's up to you. So this set, if it's on your list and it is a must-have, make sure you order it early because I don't know how long they last. It is a little bit tricky because they order good amounts of these items, but some things are just flying out the door. And then especially if you see some of the beautiful artwork that people create and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I have to have this. And since the catalog is 3 months running, it is kind of hard if we like halfway run out of it. You have to reorder. It's not like you go in the store, you just place your order and you go out and have whatever you ordered in your hands. If you have to go back to the vendor that makes these and say, hey, I need another, I don't know how many thousands, they have other things that they are working on right now. So you're maybe not the number one customer right there. And then you have to wait in line till it's your turn. Then they have to make it, then they have to ship it. And by the time they get here, we might already be, a month into the new book. So things run out. They're only while supplies last in the books, like always. Usually there's plenty, but like I said, if this is something you really, really want and can't live without, make sure you order it first. All right. Long story short. And then we have a slimline thoughts stamps, and I love these because not only can they go on the slimline cards, and as I mentioned before, I like to stamp something on the outside, but also on the inside of my cards. And often, if they're not too long, you can also put them on the regular card. So this is our regular quarter card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And if you look here, so this stamp set would work on the outside. I could put it on the inside of my card. That would work. This one here, a little tricky. So as you can see, if I leave those out, I can get the whole phrase on here, but then I'm really pushing it because it's going to be too tight to either side. But new in the catalog, we have the 5 by 7 card bases now with envelopes, and that will fit on there. So I will link those below too because they come in a bundle. I think 20 again. I have to check. But this will work too. So a nice combination of phrases and something. If you haven't tried our others, I think the third video from the February cards projects, we used a phrase on the inside of the card. This is actually meant for slimline cards, but I just like the phrase. I needed something for the inside, so I used it because I can, right? All right. Moving on. So here we are already towards the end of the catalog. Here are our stamp of the month sets. So we have April here, and it tells you it's only available April 1st till April 30th. This one is the stamp of the month for May. So only available May 1st to May 31st. And no matter how much I appreciate you as a customer, when you call me and the month is past, I cannot get these for you. If I don't happen to have one on hand that I don't need or have an extra, but I cannot get them either. So they're only available in that month. And for the month of April, we have these cute little chickens and birdies. You get a couple of those footprints. You got a little branch here and a few phrases. And like with all stamp of the months, so if you place an order of $50 or more in that particular month, you can get this set for only $5. If not, you want this set but you don't have the minimum, you still can order it, then it's $19.95. So it's just a really nice set if you happen to have already something that you need to order or want to order. So always keep this in mind. If you know, hey, May, I really want this set. So you know, if you have enough to order, perfect. If you're a VIP customer, you actually are under the same rule. So if you place an order that month for $50, you will get the set for free. So VIP customers, yes, you still have to have the $50 order, but you get the set for free. You don't have to pay even the $5. So it's really a great deal. And then this one here is called Little Stinkers for May, and I just love it. I don't know. I just like this one here. I stink at goodbyes. So this is a cute set. Welcome little stinker. I smell a birthday. Stinking cute. And then sometimes life just stinks. So this to me just again, in card class we do a lot of cards, and I always listen to the ladies, you know, when I have a friend who's sick, or they just need a little, you know, picker upper, and just sending a card is just a nice gesture to lift their spirits. And I just think these little ones will be a hit so to speak, but they're just too cute, too stinking cute. All right, and then this is the stamp set for the month of June, and this is one of my favorites too. Simple, easy, and it's so effective. So they're kind of like in this case they call it botanical shadows, and or I call them like silhouettes, because sometimes you create these nice backgrounds, and I often do just on a regular piece of cardstock or even watercolor paper, whatever I'm working on, and you have these beautiful backgrounds, and you want to stamp something extra on them. This is perfect to do. So it's just this little in-depth movement, like here, you know, you can feel the grass moving in the wind, and then you have a saddle background where you can place another phrase or something in there, or like here, this one here is just pretty. You can make a sunset and put some of these in between here. I love this when you have like a sunset colors, and then you place this in front and a nice dark black ink, and as a sympathy card, for example. There are so many ways to use this, so this is one of my must-haves, I know that. So all right, and pretty much that is almost it. Last but not least is our Operation Smile stamp set, and we always have every so often a new set. And this set you can order, and when you order it, $7 of each of these sets goes directly to Operation Smile, which is a non-profit organization that provides surgeries to repair cleft lips and palates of children around the world. And it is a really, really awesome cause. And if you want to support this cause a little bit, you can always donate with your order, a few bucks, or just round it up. Or like I said, if you order the stamp set, this will always remind you of, you know, hey, this was a set that I bought for a good cause, and I'm glad I did, because it not only has some beautiful flowers here, but it also has some always amazing phrases. And again, you know, you can never have too many, and these work on either cards or pages, and to me they're just timeless. So let your smile change the world, but don't let the world change your smile. One day I caught myself smiling for no reason, then I realized I was thinking of you. Or your smile makes life more beautiful. Thank you for being the reason I smile. Smile more, worry less. So just some really cute phrases, and like I said, for a good cause. All right, so this was our walkthrough, and as I explained in the first part, this is brand new. I'm in February right now, so I don't have any really of the items yet here either. I just am crunched time in March, I know, and I want to get this video done before I forget. And so I can post it sometime, well, if you're a VIP, you get it a little bit earlier, but towards the end of March, I will put this out on YouTube so everybody can see it. But it just gives you a good idea to see what is coming. Maybe make yourself a little list, go over it, watch the video again, make yourself some notes by the time the catalog comes out, so you have an idea of what you really, really want desperately. And I know there are these items that we all want, but also maybe where you say, okay, I have to budget a little bit, so you can spread it out a little bit, you know, make it easier on your budget. The paper packs, I don't know what will be available for us, because I can actually order a little bit of this in March. I don't know what will be available for us, but if I get items, then I will maybe have to see, post them in or make another one to show you a little bit in depth what the papers look like, or some of the stems that I get. I don't know. Many of you might have also noticed that I haven't even marked mine yet. Normally you see check marks and question marks and all over the items. That's because, like you, if I get my catalog, I go through, I put it aside, I go back to it, I look over it again. Then I think of, okay, first thought is, oh, I want this, because, you know, I'm a crafter, so, you know, like everybody else, I'm like on and on about something. And then I have to put down that hat and put on my business hat again and think about, okay, so now we're having card making classes coming up. We have crops coming up. I have to do page layout. So what will work best for what? And where do I get the most use out of it? Because I like to show you a few things that you can do with these, so you know when you get them home, you get some ideas to get started with. And sometimes it's hard when you see a set and you go like, well, I don't know, what can I do with this? And until you see somebody working with something, or they're using it on a project, and all of a sudden it's like, ooh, light bulb goes off. And you go like, oh, I can use this for this, or I can use this for that. And so, yeah, I still have to mark my items. I know a few that I want, and then others I just have to think about it. And maybe coming up, we will talk a little bit at one point when you have a new book, maybe in April. March is very packed for me. Maybe April, that I just take you on a little tour and say, okay, so let's look at the catalog from the perspective of a card maker. Let's look at the book in the perspective of a page maker. So there are two different groups, and they have two different needs, and what works for one doesn't always work for the other one. So that might be interesting to go through and just peek in and see a little bit more behind the scenes notes. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did so, please give me a thumbs up. That will help me with my channel. If you haven't yet so, I would appreciate if you subscribe, so you always get notified when there's a new video out. And I will put this aside now because I don't have time. I have to start making cards. And I will see you back here soon. Have a great weekend. I don't even know what day I will put this out, so either or. And I will see you back here soon. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.